Uber Intercity is a new feature on the Uber app, but what is it exactly? Explaining it in one quick sentence, Uber Intercity is a product that enables eligible drivers, and passengers of course, within select service areas to get trips to nearby cities. So the idea is if you book or drive for Uber Intercity, as opposed to going from, like, say, one neighborhood to another, you're going from one city to a completely different other city. So these are longer rides overall. It is kind of vague though. It's weird how it's in like some areas, but not in other areas. Like right here, you can see that right now in the United States, at least at the exact time of this video, we have LA to Orange County, LA to Palm Springs, LA to Inland Empire, and Orlando and Central Atlantic Coast, Florida. I don't know why they don't include like LA to San Diego. So it's kind of weird that they started with this. We have a few locations in Canada. And here's kind of the idea. This is more for the drivers now, that you have the potential for higher earnings. We're going to talk about that in a second. Do you really get higher earnings doing Uber Intercity? We'll see. Flexible and transparent. I think to an extent, yes. And ease of driving? Maybe. So some questionable things right here in terms of the benefits, but we'll talk about that, right? But as you can see, the main idea for Uber Intercity, because I feel like this has gotten more popular, is driving from one city to another. You know, I feel like back in the day, when I first started driving, you kind of went from, like I said, one neighborhood to another. The idea of going from one city to another was almost unheard of, or if it happened, it'd be super rare. Now I feel like it's a lot more common for people to say, shoot, I gotta go 2 hours away. I don't have any other way to get there. There's not a train, there's not a bus. I can't fly there. I gotta get an Uber or a Lyft to go from one city to another. So you can see right here, this is in India, by the way. So you can see this as an example. There's over 1,000 routes, it says. Top visited routes. So this is worldwide. This is not just in America. This is all over the place, right? In terms of going from one city to another. They have been promoting this. Like, this is what it kind of looks like if you do order it, for example. That some more information on the fare, like if you do order it as a passenger, or something to be aware of. That state taxes, toll charges, and parking charges, if any, will have to be paid to the driver in cash as per actuals directly. These are not included in your Uber fare. So that's kind of interesting too, that I feel like it's weird. Like if I look at Massachusetts, if I need to go from Boston to Springfield, there's a lot of tolls. And I feel like in Massachusetts, you should have, I think it's called the Easy Pass. But if you don't, that's something to be aware of, that like, does it get charged to the passenger, but they have to pay cash? But what if you don't have cash on you? So there are some unanswered questions here. It's kind of vague, right? And in addition to, you may have noticed, or anyone watching this video, I don't know why, it's kind of tough to find a lot of information about Uber Intercity, and I don't know why. Like, I'm not sure. I've never seen any feature on both the Uber app and the Uber driver app that is such limited information. Maybe because they feel like it's so simple. You're like, oh, you're going from one city to another. They're typically longer rides. Now, if I go here, you can see this is an ad they had about a proposal. I'm trying to use the, what's it called, in the marketing world? Ethos, I think of the emotional marketing technique. Over 2,000 routes to choose from worldwide. Now, these people, I guess, did a proposal, which is kind of weird. Imagine being like, I'm going to propose to you. Let me take an Uber Intercity to go from one city to another. Then we get out of the Uber, then I propose. I mean, I guess it could be cool. I don't know. Anyway, definitely a whole other subject for a whole other video or whatever. Let me know what you think in the comments. Would you be pumped about that? Or do you think it's a good proposal idea? And we've all these different comments of different people talking about this, because it seems like kind of vague, right? Especially when I go here. Now, this is on the Rideshare Guy. This was a pretty long video talking about it. Or not too long, but like basically going into like the nitty gritty. And you can see here, this picture's gone viral. They're going from here to here, looks like to, I know it's kind of small, I apologize. But going from Long Beach to Buena Park, $14, but there wasn't really information about how many miles you're driving, how long it's probably going to take. Like, you're kind of in the dark, right? It's kind of weird. I'm hoping they do update this, because this to me is kind of like, okay, so $14 to go from here to there. I don't know if that's worth it. And then here, they went from Long Beach to Fountain Valley. I don't know what that is, but you can see it's right here. Looks like it's about 35 miles, 15 minutes, and your earnings, or they made $55.55 doing this Uber Intercity, it looked like. But is that actually worth it? Let's talk about it. So here's my honest thoughts about this and if it's worth it or not. What's tricky and what's kind of weird is I do get to an extent, I think it's always important to look at both sides as I do in every video. I get to an extent why Uber would roll this out as, like I said, back in the day, doing a drive from one city to a completely other city, like a very long drive, was kind of unheard of. Now it's so much more common that Uber said, you know what? It's getting more common for people to do like a pretty lengthy ride, like multiple hours ride. It's getting more common. Why not make that an exact feature? That way, if you order it as a passenger, you know that you're saying to the driver, hey, I'm doing a long ride, an intercity ride. And as the driver, you know if you get an intercity ride, you're like, all right, I know this is not going to be 10 minutes down the street. Because I heard of stories, especially back in the day, where especially when you didn't know where someone was going, you pull up, and you're like, hey, I'm your driver, nice to meet you. And you hit the like accept button or you hit the, hey, I just picked the person up and it pops up and you're like, oh, you're going 3 hours away. Okay. And this happened to me one time, I remember. In Boston, I had to drive someone to Worcester. It was a peak hour, so it actually was a really high paying ride. And I remember I made $100 on this ride. But I remember it pulled up and said, all right, you're an hour and a half away. And I was like, oh. I did not expect that I was going to do an hour and a half ride. I was completely in the dark. And then the lady was like, hey, I'm sorry, I got to go to Worcester. She was super, super nice, tipped well. And so, you know, it was 2 hours basically, I think, because when I drove back, basically came to be up to 2 hours and 15 minutes. And I made about $50 an hour, which is important to mention when it comes to this because it was about, like I said, $100 to go to there and back. And going back, I did not get a ride back, unfortunately. And this, I think, brings up the big issue I find with Uber Intercity is this thing that I showed you of the $55 ride. Now, one, of course, you're not going to get all that $55. You drove about 50 minutes. You drove about 35 miles. So at first, I think to maybe a casual person not knowing the full logistics of being an Uber driver and a Lyft driver, you may say, wow, in a sense, you made $55 in an hour, right? Well, no, Uber's going to take their cut out. You're an independent contractor. You have to factor in things like expenses. But I'd say, I mean, I'm just making numbers very quick. Maybe you'd get 35 to 40 out of that. So still $35 to $40 an hour, give or take a lot of factors. Let's just round it down to 35. That's a decent hourly rate. But here's the things that kind of tricky about Uber Intercity is going back. You kind of have to figure this like back and forth situation that however much money you make, you have to kind of have it, right? Now, for me, it worked out in that one time, which is still the longest ride I've ever done, by the way. It was about, like I said, an hour and a half because of traffic. When I got back, it's probably like half that because there wasn't any traffic. It's probably like half an hour to 45 minutes, being honest, because no traffic at all. So I made $100 in 2 hours, and this is after everything. And after everything being said and done, I made, I think it was about, when I did the math out, like $40 to $45 an hour, even though I had to drive back and I did not have another ride. Completely worth it. That was 100% worth it. And especially too, for me, I'm like, hey, I'd almost rather do that and drive back and not have somebody in my car. I can just listen to a podcast, kind of zone out, you know? So that to me was worth it. But in this situation with things getting worse, obviously, you know, this is back in the glory days when I was driving. I feel like now, as we all know, Uber drivers and Lyft drivers do not get paid the way they should be getting paid. Although I understand the logic and the methodology behind Uber Intercity, it still is annoying for the driver that it doesn't factor in the commute, I'm going to call it that, back to your house. Now, it's one thing. Let's say if I live, and I do actually mean, let's say, you know, I'm in LA, and let's say someone wants to go from LA to San Diego, right, which is about, depending on traffic, an hour and a half to 4 hours. I know it's a bit like a welcome to, you know, Southern California. It's very, very kind of vague, but I'd say, let's say 2-ish hours, give or take, usually a little bit longer. Let's say 2 hours. Well, if I take 2-ish hours to go down to San Diego, and I do a ride to San Diego, if I do happen to find somebody that's going from San Diego back to LA, that's the holy grail, I feel like, of Uber Intercity, or longer Uber rides, right? Where then I go back to LA, and I'm like, boom, that was great. I probably would have made a ton of money if that happened. But every Uber driver kind of does this kind of gamble, if I'd call it that. You're literally rolling the dice with stuff like this because you're like, okay, let's say I do a ride down to San Diego, and let's say I'm making numbers up. Let's say it takes me 2 hours to get there, and let's say it's a $120 ride. I'm just making stuff up, right? So think about it. I made about $60 an hour. $120 Let's say after taxes and fees, let's say that comes down to 90, boom. I made $90 in 2 hours, $45 an hour. That's awesome. Boom, 90 bucks in my pocket. But then I have to drive all the way back to LA, right? So now that kind of halves again. And I think that is kind of the issue with Uber Intercity. And like I said, I do kind of see Uber's mindset behind this, honestly, to an extent. And I want to stress that. I do see the positive aspects that if you think about it as a driver, that if you sign up for Uber Intercity, that if you get one of those rides, it is going to be one of those situations. It's going to be a lengthy period away. It's going to be a situation where you're going to probably be in a whole other area and try to find a way back. You can always use a destination filter, which is a great technique. Highly suggest doing that out of anything. And when it comes to Uber Intercity, I feel like you almost have to pair this with a destination filter so that we can potentially get a ride back, which would be optimal, right? But you still don't know. There's been numerous times, I know for a lot of drivers, where you get stranded in a random place. And I was looking on the comments on some of these videos that have already been done about Uber Intercity, and people are like, yeah, I'm never doing it again. I got paid pretty much nothing to drive to a completely other area. They did not tip me. They were rude. Why would I ever do Uber Intercity ever again? And on top of all that, now I have to drive back. So however much money I made, which is very little, technically now I made half that, because that still has to include the time it takes for me to get back to my original location. And I think that's the issue, right? I know, although yes, longer rides have gotten a lot more popular, and I see that, I almost kind of feel like this, I don't know, I feel like because it's a feature within itself. I feel like if Uber Intercity didn't exist, longer rides would always still continue to happen, right? And let's say when the Uber would pull up, and then this can happen, like say as an Uber driver, you could see, oh, they want to go 3 hours away. No, I'm going to reject that ride. I'm not going to do it. Some drivers will want to do it, right? I almost kind of feel like this is kind of although I see the point behind it, I do kind of feel like it's a bit unnecessary. And I hate to bring this up, but me just looking at especially these numbers and what other drivers have said and already commented on, I feel like this is another situation where if you do accept an Uber Intercity ride, you're going to continue to get screwed over as a driver. And I hate to bring that up. I hate to make it, again, another pessimistic standpoint, but I almost wonder, and this is a big thing I'm curious, if you had a normal Uber, like say from LA to San Diego, and then an Uber Intercity ride from LA to San Diego, would they be the same payments? Part of me feels like, as a driver, you get paid less from doing an Uber Intercity ride to go to LA to San Diego, or pretty much any other city to city, right, in the country or in the world, as opposed to, like, say, a normal Uber to go from LA to San Diego, or pretty much any other city to city ride in the world, if that makes sense. I do kind of feel like, again, I see the point behind this. I just feel like it's a bit unnecessary. And from what I've heard from a lot of other drivers, unfortunately, it's just one of those situations that although at first it seems like a very high-paying ride, that you're like, hey, doing a 2-hour ride, especially if it's a lot of miles and all that kind of stuff and a lot of distance, and it's a solid base, you can make a lot of money. At the end of the day, when you factor in all the math of how much you're actually getting paid, your expenses, the fact that you're an independent contractor, you have to factor in taxes, all these other expenses. And then with the fact that you have to have that, because you have to go all the way back, and yes, you might be able to get a ride using the destination filter, or let's say you get lucky, but chances are that luck may be a bit slim depending on when you're driving. It's just one of those features where I feel like it's just not worth it.